It's the 7th of March 2014. It's nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. Moon's in Gemini. There's not a lot going on up there at the moment that draws my attention beyond the bigger picture as we head into the Grand Cross. And the Grand Cross is primarily involving the Uranus-Pluto square and the external decoration that is the Jupiter and Mars more relatively brief aspects. So it is Uranus-Pluto we're looking at fundamentally here, and at this time I choose to focus more on Uranus. I like Uranus in Aries. Aries is all about individuality, identity, sense of self. It can sometimes be selfish, it can sometimes be selfless. But it's all about self, and taken outside the context of the individual, viewed in the larger perspective, the meaning of Aries is that of self-empowerment and the rights of the individual within the context of the larger community. And of course, with Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto with its subversive, subterranean nature, which can sometimes be very purgative and cleansing, but other times can be seen as very dark and manipulative. With Pluto in Capricorn, the sign of world government, the corporates, the banks, the powers that be, ultimately, of course, this is going to lead to the beast gorging on itself and the internal destruction of those corporate powers based on phobia and fear of disempowerment. But at the same time, in the immediate short-term future, with Uranus in Aries being the rights of the individual, facing off with Pluto in Capricorn being the subversive power of the global elite, then of course there's lots of fights going on around the world. And this is perhaps epitomized by some of the stuff that's coming out about Ukraine now, as in, it was vastly underreported, yet over 1 million hits on YouTube about this recording between the EU and the Estonian minister, for example. The snipers were being ordered to fire on both the police and the protesters indiscriminately. So it makes you wonder, is this a propagated revolution? And if so, who stands most to gain? Now, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories here. I've done my share of that, and I don't really buy into it anymore, because at the end of the day, I don't care how dark they are, you can't kill the spirit. And although it sounds very crass and hippie-like of someone like me, there is this philosophy based on unconditional love, which will always carry you through to the bitter end. Perhaps it's the martyr on me that was burnt on the stake many generations ago. Nevertheless, I retain my confidence and my hope in Uranus, the change bringer, that he's bringing constantly refreshingly new attitudes towards exposure, towards information. And with Uranus's attitude towards 21st century technology, novelty, stimulus, imagination, dynamicism, and higher forms of power, it's pretty clear to me that Uranus is pushing its own agenda now, that of acceleration. We're on an accelerationist urge right now, but where we are right now is pushing us as a species into a future which was unimaginable 20 years ago. It's only since the days of the internet, of William Gibson, of the Matrix, that we've really taken on how to transcend the boundaries of the imagination and potentially create new worlds, almost in the imagination. It's definitely coming, and virtual reality is but one step of it. In the meantime, we're fighting over the wheat fields in Kiev to cloak the clash from call-up in 1978. This is the start of the Grand Cross. It's going to get worse in the short term. Every day now I'm doing readings upon readings for individuals, and I'm still seeing the Grand Cross as coming through in 30 to 35% of readings. 25 to 35% of readings. Off a scale. Even the biggest aspect only comes through in 10%, so something's happening. And in all cases, the time of effect differentiates between early March through to late April, early May, but one way or another, it's over by early May. I think that we're on the point of some type of collective either plunge back into the depths of materialism and fear, or potentially we can get rid of those dwarfs of power and fear that have clung on to us and are hopping us down. It is time, I think, for humanity to start realizing its true potential. And believe me, it's not based on a bunch of politicians, whether it be in Russia, the EU, or America. It's in the hands of the individuals. Uranus in Aries. I love it.